Peace and harmony coming to you today. How to get rid of the toxic residue from the narcissist, the disordered person in your life. I want to begin today's session discussing some of the key facts about the behavior, the disorder of the personality, so that upon realizing this, hopefully then it'll help you clear them, rid them from your system for good. I know it's a challenge, I know it takes some tools and learning, but that is the goal of our getting together today. Number one, key important, is just to realize that the narcissist is actually a personality disorder. You're dealing with someone on a spectrum, and in terms of their relationship to you, if you've been a target, if you've been exploited, if you've been used, you've been ignored, you've been criticized, you've been judged, chances are you've been derailed as to your own positive good. You're not able to tap into that. You're not able to connect to that within yourself, which is definitely your reservoir. Think of it like the fuel to your car. Think of it like the fuel to a rocket engine. If you're not in touch with that internal good, that internal unconditional self-love, you're not going to be able to go on and function in a happy, fulfilled life. So in terms of clearing them from your aura, from your entire mindset, from your neurology, and from your thought process that they have derailed and that they have impacted and broken in terms of a healthy cycle within you, you need to understand that this person is disordered. I think number one tool for you is just to understand that this is not just a usual person that you're going to meet on the street. It's not, a typical person that's here to serve you and is there in your highest interest. You must understand without a doubt, unequivocally, that this is a disordered person and that they are using you as a source of supply to help them feel good about themselves, that they inside have a sense of emptiness and a lack of self-love, and their own internal cognition is to surround themselves with people who reflect them back to them. In other words, that make them feel good as a source of supply. And you do not ever want to be in that role, because what's going to eventually happen is it's going to become a use, abuse, and discard sort of vicious cycle. And if you're like most people who get targeted and are in connection with a narcissist, you're going to find yourself in that cycle repeatedly. And the devastating effects will definitely take their toll, and it's best to your own interest for you to accept it and deal with it and move on quickly and soon as possible. So not only in terms of understanding the disorder, I think the second tool for you has got to absolutely be stop living in a sense of denial. What has gotten you in the first place in terms of living in a sense of denial with them? Were there certain red flags that you overlooked? Perhaps it was just the nature of their relationship. They were a boss, they were a parent, they were a sibling, they were someone who you madly fell in love with. You had extraordinary relationships with. You were able to discuss things. You felt you were able to communicate with them. You felt that this person knew you better than anybody. You felt you could laugh. You felt you could joke. This person was so charming. You felt completely yourself with them. Realize that they were sussing you up that entire time that was happening. It is hard to fathom. It's hard to believe. It's hard to comprehend. But number two tool is you have to get out of the stage of denial. We tend to sugarcoat it for them. We tend to idealize them, and that is really an inhibiting factor to us. We tend to make excuses for them. We tend to overlook things. Such is the core of our codependent personality, is the desire to love them just so much that we don't even look at what we're receiving, and we don't look at what we're going through. We don't look at the emotional sacrifice. We don't look at the physical sacrifice, the fact that we're not being listened to, the fact that we're being ignored. We tend to minimize and downplay our own needs for the sake of satisfying theirs. It becomes so habitual, it becomes so part of our identity and our chemical makeup that we find it hard to separate ourselves and establish our own connection, our own identity, and our own sense of well-being. So tool number 2 in terms of removing yourself from that lack of denial, I think it is a hugely crucial tool, and you need to let that kind of marinate and let that kind of soak into your soul for a little bit, to realize that that cycle, that codependent cycle in terms of overlooking your own needs, has been a key factor to perpetuating it. Number 3, I would definitely, unequivocally, outside of the no contact, which we've discussed, and I'll go into another video soon here, but number 3 is just having a complete sense of unconditional love and regard and respect for oneself, and realizing that you do contain a beautiful, wonderful, talented identity outside of your relationship with this person. They have not permitted you to have an identity. They will criticize you. They will brainwash you. They will judge you until the foundation where you no longer have a sense of right or wrong. You don't know what's right for you. You oversleep. You undersleep. You overtext. You overcommit yourself to their needs. This does not need to happen to have a healthy, functioning relationship. Why is it that you need to feel that you have to take care of them more than what you're receiving? Why should you over-obligate yourself? That is not necessary. Someone who truly loves you and who's truly right for you is going to match and resonate with you, and you're going to be on equal footing with this person. That's how you're going to know the right person for you, and it's okay to be alone, I would say, until you find that person. So tool number 4 is learn to be alone and establish your own identity outside of what other people are telling you to be, who to be, what their values are. Because the greatest journey, the greatest joy of this life is finding out what makes you tick, what makes you happy, what delights you. And you have to give yourself the freedom, let out the leash so that you can go and do that. Give yourself permission. It's scary, yes, but working through the fear is what courage is all about. Facing the fear, feeling the fear, and doing it anyway. That is courage, and that is the next tool that you definitely need to begin to embody and make come alive in yourself, because this person will deaden you. They will, it's almost like, in these stories, I know I tend to use a lot of anecdotes, but imagine having a sick horse, and, or no, let's not even use that example. Let's use the example of the cat and the mouse. Now, have you ever seen a cat play with a mouse? Bite it, tug at it, kind of play with it, bat it around. The mouse is scurrying around and trying to fend for itself. Yet the mouse will kill it almost within its very, few last ounces of energy and life. The cat doesn't want to totally kill that mouse in that cat and mouse game, because they enjoy to see that mouse suffer. Yet it's not a fair match between that cat and that mouse. And that is why cats are attracted to that. They have that sense of predator-prey relationship with that animal. And that is what you have been to this narcissist. Hard to stomach, hard to fathom, hard to imagine, because we do not come across in life as that. However, that is the extent, yes, I'm going there, that is the degree to which this person is disordered. So coming out of that denial and coming to grips with that reality is absolutely fundamental to your healing and clearing them from your aura.